Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central today with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. So today, continuing on with our theme of science and scientists, we're going to take you to some of the highest heights. But on our way there, we got a few things to do. Now, I don't know why it keeps doing this. It shouldn't do that. It should just go like this. Oh, I know, because I changed my settings. I have to keep remembering that. That's why this thing wasn't working. Okay, so, right. That always throws off my focus. Let's see something happen. It's not supposed to happen. So, where were we at? Oh, yeah. First things first. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like. If you're watching on YouTube, give us the old thumbs up. And then spread the word far and wide all over the land that we're not over here trying to hide. We're coming live and direct every single day from at noon and at 9, when everything will be just fine. Meanwhile, yesterday's topic actually was on math. We talked yesterday about math, and we dealt with this little board we have right here. This is a IO board, and you can see it's got a lot of nice carvings on there, mainly for the export community, because the local folks don't care that much about the design on the outside and with the seeds on the inside. And the reason I'm coming back to this again is because the topic for yesterday had to do with mathematics. And why is it that African Americans are known to be mental midgets, known as mental midgets in the main when it comes to math, but our cousins overseas are known to be quite adept at mathematics, even those who haven't gone to formal schools, etc., etc., etc. Why is that? And I believe part of the reason has to do with this game. It also has to do with our educational system. Has crippled us to a certain extent. And so today we're going to talk about, we're going to leave the topic of math, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we put math to use. Okay? How we put math to use, in different ways that we put math to use. And one of those ways is all up in the air. That's right. All up in the air. And I wasn't able to get all the images that I wanted to get for this particular presentation, but I got a few images, and we'll go with that for now. So, first but foremost, I'm going to give you this image right here. Right, there you go. And if you've been around for a while, you'll recognize who you're looking at right there, because that happens to be me. And there I am playing the I'm playing Owade with one of my cousins. Okay, one of my young cousins. But moving on from there, we're going to move right on into this travel and this ability of people to fly through the air. And the main person we're going to be focused on for this particular part of this segment is Dorothy Darby. Now, we don't have a lot of information on Dorothy, and we don't have very many pictures of Darby. But this is one of the few pictures of Dorothy that we do have. And it shows her next to a biplane circa this is around the 1920s or 1930s. And it says below her picture, it says that she is an aviator. And that's what Dorothy was. But Dorothy was not just an aviator. One of the things she specialized in is parachute jumping. So if you can imagine this, a female aviator, a black female aviator, back in the 1920s or 30s, going up in an airplane that had no walls, where you're literally exposed to the air. That's why she's wearing the helmet and the goggles, to protect you from bugs and other flying objects coming through the air, or that would be in the air as you're flying along. Even a bird might hit you in the head. You never know what could hit you in the head when you're up there in the air like that. And then you're up in this airplane, and then what she would do is she would climb out on to the wings of the airplane, because it's a biplane. So you could get up out of your seat, climb out onto the wing of one of the wings of the airplane, and jump off. And she jumped off into fields. She jumped out over Joe Louis's boxing camp. She jumped out in various states around the country, including the state of Tennessee, where she was from. She comes out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. She even jumped out of a biplane from 20,000 feet up. Now, we all know that a mile is 5,280 feet. See, this is where your math comes in. 5,280 feet. So we're going to round that off to 5,000 feet. Well, you take 5,000 divided into 20,000. She was about 4 miles up when she jumped out of this airplane right into Lake Erie. Now, if you know anything about water and the consistency of water, you realize that jumping out of an airplane into a body of water is not necessarily going to be an easy thing to do, because that body of water has a weight to it. It has a density to it that when you hit it, it's almost like the kind of impact you get would be similar to the kind of impact you'd get if you were jumping out over land. And so the first time she jumped out into Lake Erie, I think she broke one ankle or both ankles. I can't remember if it was one or both. But let's say she broke one ankle. Okay, if she only broke one ankle, I know she broke a bone. It was in her ankle. So she broke one ankle, and now she's out in the water, and her parachute is coming down on top of her. She had to not only be able to get the parachute off of her so she could breathe until somebody could pick her up in a boat, but she also had to be able to swim, because she's in the middle of Lake Erie. If she jumped from 20,000 feet, you don't want to jump anywhere close to the shore. You want to jump as far out as you can to make sure that when you fall, you're not hitting the bottom, because you're going to have an impact and you're going to go below the water when you jump in that water. So this is all part of the story of Dorothy Darby and why she holds an interest in my mind, in terms of wanting to know more about her, in terms of what was her life like, etc. Now, mind you, I can tell you this: the reason that she was jumping off of these airplanes, or part of the reason, one of the reasons at least anyway, is that she was trying to earn money in order to go to flying school. She wanted to learn how to fly the airplanes. So she jumped out of the airplanes while she was attending flying school to earn money to be able to go to flying school. She went to flying school in Chicago, same place where what's her name? Bessie Coleman was known to operate out of. Matter of fact, she would fly over. She had an annual thing. She would fly over Bessie's grave site and drop flowers on her grave from the air. Now, the other reason that she may, and I can't verify this yet, this is just supposition. The other reason she may have been jumping out of these airplanes, if you think about it, right? Back in the day when you were in these airplanes and they did all kind of tricks, they would turn upside down and do loop-de-loops and things like that. Well, at any point, you could fall out of the airplane. And if you were to fall out of the airplane, or you might have to jump out of the airplane. If the plane caught fire, the engine froze up, whatever. There were different reasons you might have to abandon plane and in that abandon ship. And in that case, you'd really want to know how to use a parachute. You'd want to be comfortable with jumping out of the plane and landing on the ground or in water or whatever. And so that may be partly why she was doing it. The other thing is that if you recall the story of Bessie Coleman was flying her airplane, her engine froze up on her, and she went down with the plane. So I don't know if Bessie didn't have a parachute or not. Maybe Bessie didn't have a parachute. Maybe that's why she went down with the plane. Because if she had a parachute, it would have made sense to jump, get out of the airplane, abandon ship. So these are just some things that I've conjectured about Dorothy Darby based on supposition and what the scant amount of facts that I've been able to gather so far. Now, I said that Dorothy Darby went to aviation school in Chicago at the Kofi School of Aviation in Chicago. She also, like you can see here, here's a article about this girl aviator flying over Joe Lewis's camp in her plane. And what she did that time, she dropped letters, well wishers to Joe Lewis when he was about to fight Max Schmeling, which was a big deal because Max was engaged in all kinds of racial animus, name calling, backbiting, shit talking, if you will. Then you got another one over here where she jumps out over Chattanooga. So I was able to find a few newspaper articles about Dorothy Darby, but very few. And then this one is a marriage license, which I'm just coming back to now. And I'll have to investigate this a little bit more because it does give you the name of somebody that married a woman by the name of Dorothy Darby. And I don't know if that's our Dorothy Darby or a different Dorothy Darby, but the timing is about right because around this time, Dorothy Darby disappears. For all intents and purposes, she no longer exists. So one of my theories is that she did get married at that time and that maybe she started going by her married name. Here's a closer look at that marriage license. And you can see here her husband lived in Lorraine and he was a mechanic. So it makes you wonder, was he, mechanics back in the day worked on all kinds of different vehicles, including flying machines. So it's possible that he may have been a airplane mechanic. Maybe he was her mechanic. Maybe that's how they met. So again, a lot of conjecture until I can find more documents to support some of my bold theorizations. But right now, I just have to theorize to my heart's content. And why this thing does this, I'll never know. I don't understand why it wants to do this to me sometimes. But let me see if I can do anything about that. Here. Oh, I see. If I do this. Okay. See if we can get a better bead on those pictures. I had this thing set yesterday, I thought, and then today I come along and everything's all out of order. Okay, now let's try to go back. Oh, here. All right, so at any rate, that is basically our show for today. And we will be back tonight, as always, with more on black people that deal and have been dealing with science for a long time. Science, mathematics, oh, I was supposed to go this way. Science, mathematics, inventions, all kinds of things like that. Yes, we are by no means mental midgets, in spite of what you may have heard popularly, okay? Or you might have heard through the rumor mill. That is just not true. Although, you know, it's hard to tell from what we see happening in our schools, because so often our children are being shortchanged. As far as I'm concerned, the children are being shortchanged in schools because they come out knowing less than they could have known if they didn't go to school at all. How about that? With just a little guidance and regular trips to the library, because the libraries are still one of our best resources. And this is what I wanted to get back to. I wanted to get back to this picture here of Dorothy Darby as an aviator, and where you can really see her boots, and you can see more of the plane in the background. Pretty fly picture, I thought. All right, so in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and clock out here. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing off. We'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock. Look for us then, because we'll be here with a grin from our ear to our chin. And in the meanwhile, we're going to send you away with a smile in a whole lot of style. And all that we ask from you is that you go ahead, make a donation, because it is the beginning of the month. And as always, we like to ask for a donation at the beginning of the month. And you can easily do it at our website, www.blakfacts.org. There's a link down in the corner. Look in the bottom right-hand corner for a link. That'll take you to a page where you can make a donation. If you're on Facebook, you can look below or above, somewhere around our live stream. There'll be a link there. You can make a donation. So we've got links aplenty. So we'll see you tonight. In the meanwhile, peace with justice, because anything less disgusts us.